Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Acres. So today we're finally going to tear down what I always refer to as the firewood shed. It's been in really bad shape. In fact, like 6 months after we bought the property, had a huge tree limb fall on it and crush the south bay on here. So it's only been 3/4 of the shed it used to be for several years. But we're going to get it torn down. We're going to clean up this whole area because eventually we're going to build back a new shed that's going to be probably about twice as big as this one was. So I've got the dump trailer over here, and my plan is to try to put all of the metal in the dump trailer. So I'm going to try to rip off the roofing panels of one section, put them in the trailer, and then demolish that section, move forward, remove the roof, then demolish the section. I don't know whether that's going to work or not, but that's what I'm going to try. Man, I'm in a bad spot. She fell. So as I ripped off these roof panels, this shed just wobbled more and more, and it finally fell down. It fell toward the excavator, but I was trying to work arm's reach, you know, like away, so it didn't hit the excavator. And now that it's lying flat on the ground, I think this is actually going to be easier. I should be able to just start breaking this apart, working my way down with the excavator, pulling off the fence panels. I mean, the way it's laying here right now, this looks like it's going to be pretty easy. So I probably should just knocked it down to begin with. That was probably the safer way of doing it. All right, firewood shed is all torn down. Got a pile of wood here next to the road. We got all the metal in the dump trailer. And there must have been some wasp nests in this thing because they were swarming the excavator. And still, there's still some I see flying around. So I didn't pick up any of this by hand. I did everything with the excavator. Since I'm not an experienced operator, I thought it would be good practice to do as much as I could. And I thought it turned out fairly well. I mean, it took me a while. Don't get me wrong, this took me a while, but I've got just a few scattered pieces of wood around. Most of it's piled up here. And then we got the metal separated and in the dump trailer. And separating the metal was the time-consuming thing, trying to break the wood off of the metal so that we only have metal in the dump trailer to take to the scrapyard. So what I need to do now is I need to try to get all that metal like pushed down in the dump trailer so that we can haul it down the road, take it to the scrapyard, get it emptied out. So every time I work with that excavator, it just stirs the wasps back up and they just start swarming it. They just all over that excavator. And when I'm done, I gotta go back, park it, and then just let it sit there for a while, like maybe 10 minutes till they stop buzzing around it for me to even exit and like try to run away. But yeah, it's a good thing I ended up buying a cab excavator, or else I'm sure I would have got stung multiple times today. All right, you got the trailer all unloaded. Got $32 at the scrapyard. I knew it wasn't gonna be much, but at least it was something. So the next thing I wanna do, I wanna get all this wood picked up. We'll use the excavator, see if we can get it put in the dump trailer so this whole site's clean. And then after that, we're gonna start working on pulling up all this concrete. Well, I think that's about as good as I'm gonna get with the excavator. The rest of this is so small, I'm gonna have to pick it up by hand. Let's hope I don't get stung by one of these wasps. There's a wasp. Whoa, 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 whoa. Jeez Louise. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm just waiting to get stung. Well, tearing down the firewood shed has definitely made this area look a lot different, that's for sure. And we got a pretty good load here in the trailer. It all fit inside. So now it's time to start pulling out all this concrete. It's already broken up and cracked in several spots. I tried counting it. It's like 16, 17 pieces that this is already in. And I'm hoping to just grab it with the excavator, lift it out of the ground in chunks, and then maybe I may have to try to drop them or something, but try to get them to break into smaller pieces And I know I've had people suggest that I tried to keep the concrete, build over it, pour new concrete over the top. But the problem is I'm not building right over the top of this. It's too close to the driveway. I don't have enough room to turn and get straight and to go into the shed. So I need plenty of room to be able to back and park equipment. So the new shed is gonna be more toward the back of where the old shed was. You know, most of this concrete isn't even gonna be under the new shed anyway. I'm just gonna go ahead, we'll get it tore out of here and just get a clean building site. Okay, we're just gonna drop this on the concrete. There we go. Woo, that's a big piece. Broken half. Let her go. I can get that one. Oh. Whoa. Golly, that is crazy. All right, got all the concrete pulled out, piled off to the side. Excavator did a good job. So there wasn't any reinforcement whatsoever in that concrete. And as bad as it was broken up, that's what I suspected. I've got a wasp right in my face. So I'd mentioned earlier about seeing whether the road commissioner would want some of this, because they'll break it up and they'll put it in ditches and stuff. They kind of use it as riprap to stop erosion. And they prefer to have concrete without any reinforcement in it. So this is a likely candidate. I'll just have to get a hold of them and see whether they want it. If not, we basically have a concrete pile that was already here on the property. It's back over here by the property line. And then I can just take all that and I can move it over to that spot if we can't find anybody to take it. Well, I think we did pretty good getting this all done in one day, even hauling off a load of scrap metal. So it's almost 4 o'clock now. I'm gonna head back up to the house. We actually have a pork shoulder in the smoker that we're cooking. So right now, that's the temperature of the pork, 172 degrees. It's getting close. We ended up wrapping it in butcher paper probably hour, 2 hours ago. I'm still getting used to this new vertical smoker that we got. The temperature on it is actually off. Our old smoker, the temperature was always higher than what it said. This smoker, the temperature is lower than what it actually thinks it is. So I have to run it a little bit hotter on the temperature setting, and it's got a water pan in it that you got to keep, you know, topped off. So it's a little bit different to try to get used to, but I think we're slowly getting the hang of it. And I like the pulled pork to be roughly around 190 degrees. So we probably got another couple hours before it's done. So today Rebecca has been canning chicken broth. She actually was canning a couple batches last night. I think she did a couple batches this morning. And then I got the rest of the chickens that we butchered all heat shrunk and in the freezer. So all the chickens down there, those are the ones we've processed so far. We still had quite a few left over from last year. These are all the chickens left over. I think we had about 12 left over from last year. So we got a pretty good amount of chicken in the freezer right now. So right there's all the chicken broth that she has done today. I think that's like 28 pints she has done. And last night she did quarts, which we got 13 quarts. So we got quite a bit of chicken broth, and that was only off the first half of the chickens. So once we do the next batch of chickens, we'll probably have close to the same amount. And now Rebecca is looking into doing Bartlett pears from the orchard. So she found unopened thing of quart mason jars here. So I think she's getting ready to go pick out in the orchard.
It's the first year we actually had Bartlett pears.
First year we've had a good amount of pears. In fact, the pears are what did the best this year. So
It's been a weird year.
yeah, it has been a kind of odd.
They're like fist size.
Yeah, they're pretty good size. Oh, let's see if I can reach it.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Yeah, they're way up. All right, it's a good start.
Yep.
All right, we got all the pears peeled and they are cooking in a simple syrup. Got the water bath canner heating up. So we'll be canning the pears here pretty soon. But the neighbor ended up getting a hold of us. They had a refrigerator that went bad out in their garage, and they had several dozen eggs out there. So now those eggs are floating, and they asked us if we wanted to feed them to the pigs. So we've got this whole container here full of eggs. So I'm gonna take those out to the pigs and see if they want them. There's our pigs. How are you guys doing? Huh? You guys want some eggs? Hmm? You guys want those? Come here, pigs. Oh, you probably just eat them off the ground. See that? Them are all horse flies on his back. Oh, come on. Look at you pigs, don't mind me smacking you. Well, the pigs ate those eggs right up, and I think I killed about 10 horse flies that were on their backs. Those horse flies, they're like little vampire bats. They just kind of get on their back and they just latch onto them. They do the same thing to the cows too. Well, it's 6 o'clock now, and the pork is at 183 degrees. So not quite where I want it yet. So most of the time when we do this, it takes so long to cook, we end up having a pretty late supper. Six quarts of pears. Ooh, she's a dripping with juices. Take her inside, let's get some supper. Well, we probably got a little impatient because we took it out before it got up to the temperature that I was wanting. Didn't quite pull apart, so we did have to help chop it up a little bit with a knife, but here it is. This is our pulled pork. It does have a nice red ring on it. And the flavor's good too. So, not perfect, but it'll feed us for a few days. So I'm gonna go ahead, fix myself a plate, and call it an evening. So hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.